Tell us about you and your situation.
Well, I've actually been trying for many years. I've never qualified for any housing. And time has just ticked on and ticked on. And I'm now 53, my partner is 62, and we're still renting. And we're basically having to move when people that you rent from, their circumstances change, they want to sell. It's very disrupting, it's very unsettling. We had a really big hope that we might be able to actually buy something with the Help to Buy scheme. But basically that was also quashed because my partner will become of retirement age in a handful of years. So basically we have to have a huge deposit and they won't give a mortgage. There's limited lenders.
You've worked hard. You're clearly, a person who's trying to help themselves, very much so, Jacqueline. I mean, how do you feel that you haven't, even though you've worked hard, saved and done the right thing, been able to buy a home? It seems more and more people in your generation, in our generation, we're roughly the same age, if I may say so, we can't buy homes, even though our parents are able to buy homes.
Yes, it's very unsettling. It's quite unnerving. I run a childcare service for the local authority from the premises that I rent. So feeling that always makes you feel insecure, that, you may have to relocate. And obviously in our older years. And what's going to happen?
So the biggest issue for you has been not being able to save for that deposit because there's just not enough.
Yeah, if you're offered a shorter mortgage, basically you have no choice. I'm self-employed, so that's another hoop to jump through. So basically, if it was on my partner who has about 3 or 4 years until he retires, then basically we would need a massive deposit. And because we've had to move several times, the rent goes up several times, there is no chance of saving that deposit. It's just not a possibility.
It strikes me you put your finger on something very important there, Jacqueline. You said what's going to happen in your older years. And for me, this is a huge ticking time bomb. There are so many people now, 25 to 40-year-olds, 30 to 50-year-olds, who don't have their own home. We're now below the EU average of home ownership. We're no longer a nation of homeowners. There's a very high proportion of home ownership among the above 60s, and most of them have paid off their mortgage. But there's a lot of people from our generation, our combined generation, Jacqueline, they are going to go into old age, into their pension years, not working, yet they're still going to have to pay rent because they won't live in a house on which they've paid off the mortgage. You say you don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what's going to happen either. I don't know how that's going to work.
I mean, I think these people, obviously, the ones that we're obviously going to need care at a later date, it's going to be a huge burden on the council care homes because we're not going to be able to fund any care.
Vast experience of the rental market. Can you tell us what makes a good landlord and a bad landlord?
I've been very fortunate.
Good.
And I think it's been a big help, our last move, when the government culled the fees that the agents then couldn't charge. That helped a little bit. Just being flexible and fair, really, I suppose, and not putting the rent up too much. But obviously, even though we haven't really been subject to huge hikes in rent while we've been in tenancy, it's the uncertainty again. This is what's coming in, that's what's going out. What's coming in is not going to change, but you don't know what's going out and how it's going to be.
And as you say, Jacqueline, it's shining through in your statements to us. You haven't managed to secure, despite the hard work, the certainty of home ownership. You've got a business. It's a successful business, yet the business relies on the premises being in the right district, where you build up a clientele of young families who use and value your services. And if you're running such a sort of customer-facing, touchy-feely business, and then you have to move premises, that can completely upend everything that you've achieved.
Well, if I needed to move again and I can't find a premises with permission, then I'd have to close the business. Therefore, my livelihood has gone.
What sort of notice have you had over the years from landlords? Have there been times when it's your home, but except it's not
Yes.
a permanent home, and that's incredibly difficult?
Yes.
Have you been? Do you feel like you've always been given a fair notice period? Are there times when you've moved
Yes.
in? And yes, you have. So you have been.
Yeah, we've been very
by the
fortunate.
sounds.
Yes. Yeah. We've been fortunate, and there have been properties to move on to. However, it has really grown in our area, and there are many, many families I turn away that are in need for childcare. It gives me an idea of who's coming in. Obviously, it has a knock-on effect with the doctors and other amenities. But now houses are just snapped up, so they can ask what they like, really.
Jacqueline, you're clearly a very capable woman, if I may say so. You're running a successful business. You're intelligent and articulate. Did you ever think that you'd end up not owning your own home?
No, it's always been a dream that's been always out of reach.